Got to go to Loveland. Take my hand. Let me lead you to Loveland. Hello, friends. Hello, and welcome to this almost personal reading. Gonna get us situated here with a little welcome. Welcome to our show. This is an almost personal reading having to do with why you're feeling unsafe, why you're feeling vulnerable at this time. Now, this is being recorded during a waxing moon, so the time between a full moon and new moon. So it could just be a moon phase thing, but maybe there's something deeper, a deeper dive we have to take in relation to that. So I've got all sorts of cards and goodies. I've got some intuitive reading we're going to do out of this book. So this is one of my mom's books, Robin Hood. And I found a whole box of those recently. We've got the bees coming in for this reading, and I did a show yesterday on my other channel, TLC for the Soul. I'll link to that here, where we talked a little bit more about this time frame and how you can work with it from a deeper perspective if you want to do a little bit more advanced spiritual work. But we used these two crystals came up, this sea anemone, the sea anemone, and the golden healer quartz. And we talked a little bit about nostalgia and things coming back from the past to be re-looked at again, possibly some deeper healing being done. And I was guided to grab this Explore America Austin candle. And I just moved recently from Austin, Texas area to where I'm at now in North Dakota. This isn't really about me though, but all of these things could play into the fact that you may be feeling, a little vulnerable, a little unsafe. So let's try to dig out in this almost personal reading what's going on, what we may need to take a closer look at. Let's just see what the guides have for us here as I'm going to move in a little bit closer, and I just want to wrap us all in love light and light love and invite in the spirit guides who overlight this show, Archangel Michael, Archangel Metatron, the Pleiadians. Just make sure my camera's in a good space. I never really like where it's at, but we're just going to work with that. All right, so let me just see, because I've got many decks here. I want to see which one wants to be used first. So Bubble. So the majority of the decks I use on this channel are my own creations. If you're interested in any of them, the links are in the show notes to all of my stuff. All my ebooks are free to read. My decks are all available exclusively through the Game Crafter. If you're interested in working with me personally, all of my services, there's a link to my services page on my website. And if you're interested in any of the merch, t-shirts, mugs, pillows, all sorts of different stuff, you can check out my Redbubble shop, and those links are all always listed in the notes of this show. So we're pulling out Bubble. Usually I come in with the cards a little bit to the left of the camera, so don't freak out if a card suddenly just pops in from the left. I kind of show them up to the screen that way because I like to stand and move about as I'm doing readings. Thank you for my wireless mic. And let's just see with this almost personal reading, friends, guides that are here, for the friends that are watching, what's going on with vulnerability and feeling a little bit unsafe at this time. So we've got quite a few cards. We've got 3 cards coming out. The first one we got is Legends. So this is like an urban legends kind of a card. I do see that there's a like a moon up here in the card. Let's read this card. Were werewolves real? Randy wasn't sure, but he had seen that strange shape with glowing eyes peeking at him through the fog last night on his run. Surely he was imagining things. The gray wolf had smelled something tasty and delicious on his nightly rounds. Terence didn't know what had come over him, but tonight the moon was full and he must go out again. So I want to set that there. And I thought it was interesting because as I was prepping for this show, I have this, and it didn't really fit in the camera, but it's wanting me to bring it in and just show it. So I had this kind of off to the side. And I know many people that come from my TLC for the Soul channel are wolf shifters. And I thought it's quite interesting that the first card that comes out has to do with wolves and werewolves. So I don't know if there's a spot for that here necessarily. We'll just put them there. Urban legends. Werewolves real. Feeling a little vulnerable. So this is like Randy. He doesn't know what's going on. He's seen some things out in the darkness and he's not sure what they are. And in this case, there really is something out there kind of watching him. So I feel like, let's get a few more cards before I go into what I'm thinking. We got treat yourself to something sweet. We've got pumpkins here. That pumpkin pie looks really good. I do find it, we are actually coming out with the first deck be my autumnal deck, Bubble Bubble, this time of year. And someone is looking out for you. Okay, so here's what may be happening. I do find this really interesting. Okay, let me just share. So you're out and about, and I'll just kind of speak from personal experience too, but this is like your personal, almost personal reading. But a lot of times the energy of the folks watching this shows that's rather mirrored. But you're out and about on a morning walk, an evening run, and you may just be like, I feel like something's out there. I don't know what it is. My skin feels kind of like, prickly. What's going on here? And, oh, now I know where this is going. Okay. What's going on here? And you're not sure, but you feel more scared and vulnerable than sure about what's happening. So your guides are saying that 9 times out of 10, it's them that you're sensing around you, but you've got some stuff going on with trust and trusting your guides and trusting that your guides are, you don't see anything, and trusting, I've got the dog here with me. We don't know what's going to happen with her. She has trust issues too. I don't know why she does either. So these are like deeply ingrained things where we feel unsafe, even in the midst of like our, in this case, our guides, who should really be like our best, most trusted friends. Yes, I'm getting big chills there. We may even feel like, are my guides leading me in the right direction? This is what's making you feel vulnerable. Are my guides leading me in the right direction? Are they really here for me? Do they really have my back? I think there's some, whenever you're watching this, there's questions coming up about that. Like, do my guides really have my best interests at heart? And are they really here to help me at all times? And I actually had those questions myself the past couple of days. I'm kind of like, why does it sometimes seem like you guys are like tricksters with me? Like, I understand spiritual tests and initiations, but sometimes it's kind of like, okay, haven't we had enough of that? Like, how many more times do I need to be like, I'm saying hoodwinked into believing that something is something is happening in a certain way. So I don't have any examples yet, but I feel like there's trust issues going on with us. I don't think it's the guides. I think it's us, because they're coming in, and this is like a cat familiar. We did do a big reading yesterday too. A big part of the story that we did the advanced, the show on was about Scratchy Willikers, who is the familiar of Polly in my book Mabon and Murder that I'm working on. And Polly sometimes doesn't trust, she's not trusting because she's had some bad 3D relationships in the past where she thought they were like divinely guided, but they turned out like wrong. In this case, in her case, someone proposed to her way back when, in a past lifetime, actually, someone proposed to her, and she accepted the proposal and opened her heart, and then that person got summoned away. This is back in like the days of the nights. They got summoned away, and the person never returned, and Polly never knew what happened to that person. So again, these are past life, like trust issues, because when I think, well, I do, there are things in this lifetime too that have caused like trust issues. So I think there's things from this lifetime and nostalgia, things from past lives coming up to be healed so that you can feel safe, first within yourself, and second, feel safe that your guides, angels, whoever you work with, deities, source, I mean, because it could even be source, like I'm mad at God for whatever, that source, fairies, gods, goddesses, saints, whoever it is you're working with, that they really are, they're here in your field for a reason. Your guardian angel, they're here to look out for you. They're not here to be like trickstery energy. And when I go back to this Robin Hood book and I look at the cover, it reminds me very much of, how many people are here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, like the 5 of, is it swords? Like oh, look at all the red he's got on. He's here with his arrow poised to do something, to achieve a goal. And behind him are all these like niggling, I don't know who these people are in the book. I'm not familiar with the whole story, the whole entire story. But there's these people in the background. I think they're his merry men here. But in this case, yeah, it's the same thing. They're supporting him, but they don't look very supportive. I cannot really tell. And it's like there's these opposing thoughts and things, like keeping him from looking, I don't know, but to me, he either looks like my target is in reach, or I'm not entirely confident that my target is in reach. So let's do an intuitive. Look at this book. It's so old. I just want to show it. That's really the stance we should be seeing. Like this is where we should be at, which is the end of the book. So it's kind of interesting. And I like it says boys and girls fiction series. Look at those really old books, really old stories. I don't know. This is where we should be, feeling strong and confident. And I just don't know from the beginning here, like he needs a little bit of work on his root chakra. I do think it's really cute too. Like this is my mom's writing, Property of Joan Neuer. And it's like a little girl's writing, because that wasn't not like her adult writing. So I think it's really cute. All right, let's just, oh, look at the back. This is supposed to be us with our spirit guides. I know that's like, what is it? Friar Tucker, whatever. But this is what our spirit guides are here to do. Like, hey, you need to get across that, get that hard spot in this river. Let me help you across. Let me help you get across and get where you need to go. The picture's so crazy. All right, let me just flip it here. First of all, is there anything in here? I like to see if she left anything behind in some of these books. Oh, there is something. Wait, what is that? There's something. There's something right here. A little. I like her bookmarks were always like pieces of Kleenexes and stuff. What is this? Introducing cherry Blossom Fragrances by Dorsey. Oh my God, this is so old. I'm telling you, nostalgia. New Bedford, Massachusetts, the Star Store. This is where my mom was from, in New Bedford, Mass. Dorsey's Cherry Blossom, the fragrance for you this whole year through. Cologne, $3.10. Talc, 50 cents. Soap, $1. Perfume, $2, $3.75 or $7 plus tax. Bubble bath, $1. And I guess like a talcum powder or a dusting powder, $1. Love it. I don't know if that's really my intuitive reading now, so I'm going to flip. Oh, there's little pictures in this book. Let's see where we end up. Okay, the right side. So let's just read this before we pull any more cards. God, this book is so old. Hold on, I want to see like when it was. Oh, are the pages meant to be that yellow? Copyright MXMXL. That's what is that? 19, an X and an L is 40. 1940. The right side of the page, The Merry Adventures of Robin Hood. Yeah, truly. Yet I know, oh, we're going to get into this old-fashioned saying, yet I know not that thou wert in hiding because of it. Marry, the times are all awry, when a gentleman must lie hidden for so small a thing. But we are losing time, said Robin, and I have to find that same friar. Why, uncle, thou hast not far to go, said, I don't know if I can read this now, said Will Scarlet, pointing to the friar, for there he stands beside you. How art the man that I have been at such pains to seek all day, and have been ducking for? Why, truly, said the friar, do call me the Curtal Friar of Fountain Dale. Others call me in jest the Abbot of Fountain Abbey, and others still again call me simple. Oh, this is when he meets Friar Tuck. I like the last name Beth. Bess, but now I'm saying it, Beth, said Robin, for it slips more glibly off the tongue. But why didn't you tell me, I'm putting it in modern speak, why didn't you tell me that you were the person I sought, instead of sending me searching for black moonbeams? Why, truly, you didn't ask me, good master, said Tuck, but what did you desire of me? Oh my gosh, see? Why, truly, didn't you ask me? No, said Robin, the day is late, and we cannot stand longer talking here. Come back with us to Sherwood, and I will unfold all to you as we travel along. So without waiting any longer, they all departed, with the stout dog at their heels, and wound their way back to Sherwood again. But it was long past nightfall, and they reached the greenwood tree. But this is the thing. It says how all this time Robin's been looking for this Friar Tuck. And instead of just this Friar Tuck guy saying like, hey, it's me, he sends him on some like wild goose chase of looking for black moonbeams. And when Friar Tuck says, why didn't you tell me? All that he says is, you didn't ask me, good master. Holy crap. This is definitely going back to trusting our guides, knowing that they're here to help us. But in order to receive their help and their guidance, you have to ask for it. And I do feel like it's more than just a one-time asking. I feel like we have to ask periodically throughout the day, or when we are truly in a situation where we need help, we have to then kind of ask for those blessings again. It's not a blanket statement like, help me forever and ever to the end of my days. There has to be like this regular communication with your guides. And I think that helps. Yeah, they're saying yeah. And that helps build trust as well. So in this case, like Friar Tuck, but you see that he was like a guide, because we just saw him when he was at the back of the book. He was carrying Robin over the river. Like in this case, Friar Tuck couldn't really say anything or couldn't really help Robin because Robin didn't ask for him, didn't ask. Ay. Oops, sorry, I just moved something out of the way. So what does this have to do with feeling vulnerable? So I think it does. I think it has to do with feeling vulnerable because we feel like we're not you feel like you're not being supported, but it's because you're not asking when you need to ask. You're assuming, well, number one, you're not trusting because you feel like you haven't gotten the help that you need, but you haven't got the help that you need because you're not asking for the help when you need it. It's like a two-way street. Now, why this treat yourself to something sweet? Oh, they're like, well, don't be hard on yourself, because you just have to be reminded periodically that that's what needs to happen. It's even an advanced practitioner sometimes forgets. And I think advanced practitioners, when I say that, I mean people that have been on the spiritual path for a while, are used to working with guides and source and all that. Even we can feel vulnerable and like we're not being cared for, we're not being, that we're not trusting our guides, because it's just a friendship that develops over time. And the more you ask and the more that the assistance is given and you see it, and maybe you have to note it down somewhere, like I asked and then I got X, because I think we forget, like the day gets busy. Hence the gratitude journals, which I have always been in resistance to doing, because I'm like, well, it already happened. I don't want to go back and gratitude for it again. It's just like constantly looking back at the past. But consciously throughout the day, maybe there's a way to make note of, you know, I needed whatever it is. I asked my guides, and we talked about in the show the other yesterday, like things are manifesting super fast now. And as soon as you ask, pretty much what you ask for is given very shortly thereafter, unless now there's stipulations to that. Things don't always show up right away in certain circumstances. And I think that's where the trust bond gets lost a little bit, is that you may ask for something like a better job, an upgraded relationship, something new and shiny, like an upgraded vehicle or home or something. And it doesn't show up right away. And so your trust in yourself, in your own intuition, and in your guides kind of starts to wane a little bit, because you're like, you told me to be patient. I've asked, and you told me not to keep asking. And I've been waiting, and sometimes you've been waiting like years. And I mean, come on, anybody in the 3D world, especially when you recognize yourself as a starseed, an earth angel, a light being, and you've come from some of these other dimensions where everything you ask for is like immediately given, because it's not necessarily, there's no density in some of those realms. And so you're used to asking or even creating for yourself. I always forget the name of this book. Why? I don't know. When I need it, I can never remember it. But it's going to come to me later. But in the other realms, you can create stuff very quickly. You need a house, you just create a house. With your mind and your intention, a house just forms. It's not even really a house. It's like an etheric home kind of a thing. Gosh, what is the name of that book? It's it's an old book. Raggles. All right, well, if I find it, I'll put it somewhere in the show notes or something. It's an excellent book about a lot of different things, about manifesting and creating your reality. But here, sometimes things have to happen before your manifestation can take place. Okay, so I had to pause for a second and find the book. It's the Celestine Prophecy. I'm sure all of y'all have read it before, but if you haven't, it's excellent. Let's find out other reasons why we might be feeling vulnerable. Why are you feeling vulnerable? Why are you maybe not able to trust your guides the way you should? Alternate dimensions. When you just know you've met somewhere before. Well, we were just talking about alternate dimensions. Past lives. That your guides have been with you. Some of them not as long, but many of them for multiple lifetimes. And some of them since the beginning of first separation from source. Let's see if there's anything else going on with this vulnerability. Angels of creation. Believed to receive, the angel said as she projected the angles and energies that would create the human's wish. So angels of creation all around us, helping all around you. Let's get some tarot cards. Let's see if there's anything we can gather about this vulnerability and these trusting of the guides. This is tarot at the end of the rainbow. Let's see what we've got here. Oh, one card. The Nine of Pentacles. She's got a dragon on her arm. Standing before a gate that has all these 9 pentacles, this portal door. These issues, I'm going to call them issues. This lack of trust, this vulnerability is keeping you, well, you think it's keeping you from harm, but what it's really doing is keeping you from advancing through a gate that kind of goes into the higher realms of consciousness. Because distrust, I don't want to say vulnerability is a lower vibration, but lack of trust is a lower vibration, because they kind of want me to put this down here, and the angels of creation believing to receive and all these things just kind of getting created easily for your behalf is way up there. So do we have advice? Let's get one more card and then we're going to see if we have any advice. I think we're going to do a pick a card. What the heck? No, that's nobody. Oh my word. Leave it alone. Let's get the Gill. The Gill Tarot. No one is here. All right. We've got a dog with trust issues. Let's get the Gill Tarot. Anything else before we pull out and do our little pick a card? We've got speed. The Eight of Wands. So it sounds like this is an easy fix. It's an easy fix, but I think we need more information. So I'm going to pull these out of the way and do a little pick a card for an even more personal reading. Put that on there right now. Let's get, let's shuffle. We're going to do 3 piles. So this is my deck TLC for the soul. So let's see even more personal messages about how to get your trust back. This is my deck You Are Loved. And this is my deck, Happy Cloud. And we will put a flower card on top of each one for you to choose. This is Flower Therapy by Robert Reeves. This will be how you'll make your choice. This is the Flower Therapy deck. So pile 1, what can they do? We got, so your card is balance, work, rest, and play. The yellow rose. It's important, we got this card yesterday, we were working with it. It's important for you to have fun along with fulfilling your responsibilities. Pile number 2. You got the red rose. Open your heart. Your potential for greater love rests in opening your heart. Blockages and wounds from your past will be healed, and you'll be met with the true passion that you seek. And you also got financial healing, the yellow lily. Your money struggles are a thing of the past. Be open to all avenues to receiving, and you'll be provided for in every way. And pile number 3. You got reach for the stars, the orchid. You deserve only the best, and this is all you should focus your attention on. That's nice. And eucalyptus, open your arms to receiving. You've prayed for help, now be open to accepting it. So pick your pile, 1, 2, or 3, and we will timestamp these, and we will show up next for pile 1. Hello, pile 1. You chose the yellow rose, balance, work, rest, and play. It's important for you to have fun along with fulfilling your responsibilities. So this is what else do you need to know about the vulnerability that you're feeling right now, maybe the lack of trust that you might be experiencing. So let's get your cards. The first one we have is Union, number 17. Wisdom Guide. Mission Manager. All right, everything is fine. Let's see what story these. Clarity, you're receiving the answers that you seek. Check-in, your guides are trying to reach you. And today, be here in the now. So what else do you need to know about vulnerability and trust and trusting your guides? Yeah, it's like this all goes back to what I was talking about in the collective side of the reading with the story that the chapter that we read in the advanced reading, or the extended, whatever you want to call it, about Polly not trusting. She has some trust issues because of something that happened for her, it's not a past life, but something that happened a really long time ago where she put all of her trust in someone who was supposed to be her partner. And we don't know why the person said, Polly, will you marry me? And then left and never returned again. Like, we haven't gotten there yet in the channeling of the story, but it changed the whole trajectory of Polly's life. And I feel like that's kind of what is happening here. Is there was something. It may not have been romantic. It could have just been any type of relationship where you felt closely united with another. And somehow there was a betrayal there, a betrayal of trust. And that set you off on this like mission manager kind of energy stream where you're like, well, forget it. If I can't trust other people, then I'm just going to trust myself only. I'm going to do everything myself. This mission manager is kind of like a project manager, like a get to work card. I'm going to do everything myself. I'm going to dance to the beat of my own drum, and I'm going to be my own wisdom guide. I don't need help from anybody else. I'm going to take care of me because I can't trust anybody else to do that. And your guides are saying, well, that's all right. I mean, you can choose whatever path ultimately that you want. If you want to choose that path, that's fine, because your dharma, you can do your life purpose with or without another person involved. And it just seems like we're heavily focused on a partnership here. You can complete your life purpose without anybody else coming into the picture, because it's been designed. I mean, everyone, whether they're in union with another partner or not, has their own individual life purpose. If you come into union in like a divine partnership, a soul flame relationship, or whatever, you enter into an additional responsibility of a dual mission with another person, where you take on the higher added responsibility of completing a soul mission together. That does not negate the fact that you still have an individual soul mission to complete. So for you, you can complete your mission by yourself if you so desire. But your guides are saying, let's check in with this mindset, because you're not thinking, you're doing a good job of being here in the now, but you're not necessarily doing any forward thinking about your lifestyle and your situation, and the fact that if you did bring a partner into the picture, your life, your 3D life, would greatly improve from what it is now. And there's a huge added benefit to both parties for you to be able to do that. Let's get some tarot cards. Let's grab the tarot at the end of the rainbow. And this little deck is about to fall off the table. Let's see what else we might have for you here, because we also talked about having, okay, I'm going to go back to that in just a second. I want to go back to the yellow rose in a second. So let's get some tarot cards. There's all of these that want to come out. All right. So the first one out is, yes, should have known, the Eight of Swords. So you're, by having this I can do it all by myself mindset, you are kind of unconsciously or subconsciously binding yourself, in a sense that you're not opening yourself up to the other possibilities that exist. And right now, with the card that you chose, the balance, work, rest, and play, the yellow rose, you are doing a great job of doing it all by yourself, but you need help. You need a partner. And I think some of you don't want to hear this. Let's see what the other cards are that we're clarifying this. So we have the Nine of Wands. I think this is kind of you, like, nobody's getting into my world. I've got it all set up the way I want it. We've got the, this card throws me every time. I think it's a Justice card, like a balance. Is it Justice or Temperance? Holy smokes. This one throws me. Let's just look at it for what it is. This little tiny fairy and this huge gigantic wolf. Here's wolves again. and the Five of Cups. This, oh, it didn't work out in the past, so why should it work out now? But these two cups are waiting there. So I feel like when you, prior to this incarnation, you created two life streams for yourself. You created one where you were going to go it alone and just see how that all worked out. And there was going to be a whole lot of growth and spiritual advancement on that path. But it's reached its plateau now. It's reached a point where you're not climbing anymore. You're just at the status quo. And in order for you to rise both energetically and emotionally and materially in this world, it's not going to happen unless you bring on a life, I don't want to say life partner, but unless you bring on, well, they're saying life partner, unless you bring on a life partner, you bring in a soul flame, a union that you can trust. You have done enough soul work on yourself to be able to attract a partner that is not going to treat you the way you may have been treated in the past. Is not going to do you wrong. You've done enough work on yourself to discern what's right for you and what's not. So this is about trusting, number one, yourself. Number two, your guides. And it's trusting yourself like your higher self. Like maybe my higher self knew what it was doing before I incarnated and I created these two paths for myself. The go it alone, lone wolf path. Because this kind of reminds me of like, I'm the lone wolf and I don't need anybody to, look, I mean, he's all big and beefed up and he's got that beautiful coat and he's got that amazing little crown, third eye, little gizmo going on his head. I don't need anybody in my life. And then here comes this little fairy like, hey, almost like, hey, I could help you. And I don't get the sense either way with this wolf. Like one foot's up in the air and one's down. I don't get the sense like, is he going to like pounce her out of the way? Or is he going to warm to the gentleness of this fairy in this cold land that he's in? And she's all green, so there's a lot of heart healing going on here. I think whoever this lone wolf is very stable and secure. They've got a really nice, furry, beautiful root chakra going on. And I think they feel like, I can take care of myself. Back to this wisdom guide message. And your guides are like, okay, that's fine and good. Yes, you've proved that. You don't have to prove that to anybody else anymore. And you can stop trying to prove it to yourself because you've done it. But now the thing is, there's an entryway coming up to this second life stream that you created before you incarnated. And I want to get a sense for when this life, guides never like me to ask these one questions, but this is a Gill Tarot. Let's just see if this is something that's becoming available to you very soon or very far away. Like you've got time to plan and think about it, or what's the case? All right, so we got the Three of Pentacles and the Death card in reverse, which is number 13, which is a 4. You've got some time to work on this because Pentacles are like slow moving energy, and there's some work that has to be done before there's some transformational work that you have to do on yourself to get you ready for this gate to open. Pentacles being slower moving energy, this is more like a year's, like within 3 years type of situation. So first, you would have to, yeah, there's quite a bit, I don't want to say quite a bit. There's a sequence of events that has to happen for a portal door to open. And it's not that you're ready, but you're not ready. Because you finish, once you decide, so I'm going to put these cards down. Once you decide, like, yes, I want to do this, and because you've got the sovereignty and the freedom to make this decision, this is gain. And you have nothing to lose by making the decision. You have everything to gain. But once you decide to take this leap of faith and accept the fact that there's this other life stream waiting for you out there, then there's a transformational process that has to happen. And it has to happen for two people and not just one, because there's the other party involved also has to get ready to be ready. And once you decide, you open yourself up to that life stream and you kind of get on that timeline. But the person doesn't show up right away, because you then will start being presented with all sorts of like trust exercises of maybe dealing with other people and building trust bonds with other people you don't know that aren't romantic partners. And there'll be some probably past life healing work that comes up. There may be some karmic balancing that has to happen to where you have to get yourself aligned with this life stream in terms of, we already said it's going to have like massive benefits to your material life. Could be an increase in finances. So this other person coming in could be someone that is, you know, more well off than you, is going to be somebody who can offer you a better lifestyle. But if your karmic bank is kind of not ready for that, there may be some service work you have to do to bring yourself up to a level of karmic entitlement to be able to align. Yeah, I'm getting chills there. To be able to align with this other party. And the exact same thing will then begin to happen to whoever this other soul is, because this life stream was created before you incarnated. You and this other soul, yeah, big chills. You and this other soul designed this life stream together. So once you decide and kind of then you start mirroring each other. And then they decide, like, man, what would we like to be with another person? It kind of all kicks off this magical series of events, and they've got to get ready to be ready too. And maybe the things they have to clear and heal are they may mirror you in a sense, but the situations may be different, the things that they have to work on. And they may need to get ready to be ready for you. So and then you start going through the gates and the portals to be able to get you energetically aligned to this person. And it's a slow process because you didn't want to rush things, especially because of your current life stream that you're in now, where you just feel like you can do everything yourself. I mean, that mentality, they're saying, so it's a lot of that is in the mental body. It's not coming from the heart. It's not coming from the higher self. A lot of that mentality is not going to change overnight. You're going to have to go through a series of tests and initiations and karmic readiness exercises and service work to be able to get you balanced and aligned. And while you're doing that, the other party is doing the same thing on their side. And then the universe, quote unquote, the universe behind the scenes is doing what they need to do to magically bring you both together. So what started out as just this why am I feeling vulnerable and what's going on? I may have some trust issues has evolved now into this message from your guides who are saying, yeah. And if you can get past that, then there's this whole other, there's this whole other world, this whole other way of being available to you. So it's a conscious choice. Only you can make it. And once you decide, and they didn't say 3 years or longer, it said within 3 years, you would be aligned and this person would be aligned for you both to come together. So that's very exciting. You know, I do I do have a lot of experience in this particular area of the getting ready to be ready and all of that. So if you want to work with me individually, you know, let me know, seek me out. All of my services and things that I offer are available in links in the description of this show. And this sounds like there is a decision point coming up for you, and maybe multiple decision points. You may want to mark this video and save it for later and come back and watch this again. But that is all we have for you, friend. So group number 1, thank you so much for joining us. You have an exciting door of possibility available to you if you choose to take it. So thank you again, and we will see you soon in the next one. Take care. Hello, pile number 2. Hello. You chose the red rose with open your heart. Your potential for greater love rests in opening your heart. Blockages and wounds from your past will be healed, and you'll be met with the true passion you seek. And financial healing, the yellow lily, with your money struggles are a thing of the past. Be open to all avenues to receiving, and you'll be provided for in every way. I swear this seems almost like pile number 1 already. Let's see what cards you got. Let's see, from TLC for the Soul, you got Rest. It's kind of at the center. From Happy Cloud, you got Safety, time to tighten those boundaries. Flow, you are receiving divine downloads. Peace, stay in your power. These up here because these are kind of like your anchor cards. Care, tell someone you love them. And Sealess Selkie, which is kind of like a selkie out of water, like doesn't have her pelt. So what is happening here? This is all about maybe why you're feeling a little vulnerable right now, why you may be having some, I don't want to call it trust issues, but why you may not be trusting yourself or your guides completely right now. This one feels like you are being impacted by outside events. So I'm going to grab another deck. I'm going to grab my hand-created deck, Labyrinth of Dragonshire. Let's just see if we can get a few more cards. What's going on with you? You got healing is happening within you. Allow and get over it. I feel like you are, they're saying you're worn out. You're worn out. And it really does feel like world events are what's causing, not world, yeah, like world events are what's causing your conundrum right now. There's there's kind of like a lack of trust in source to be able to handle all of these things that are going on in the world. Kind of like, why, God, do you keep letting these things happen? And why can't you fix, you know, whatever, this issue over here with these people not having enough water? And why are there hungry people in the world? And why this and why that? And so it's kind of for you more of a, where pile one had more to do with like the lack of trust stemming from something that happened in the past between them and another person. This is more of a, something's not happening in the world, and how can source, if he, she, it, they, whatever, you know, whatever pronoun you want to use, if it loves us so much, how can you allow all these horrible things to happen? And there's multiple messages here from your team. First of all, this is not helping you at all. This mindset, this way of thinking is really taxing on you physically and mentally, because my guides keep saying Standing Rock. So they keep reminding me of Standing Rock when I got like really overly pulled in. As an empath, you get overly pulled into these situations, okay? And they feel really like close to your heart. And maybe they are in some sense, like maybe I had some, you know, past life relationship with Standing Rock or whatever, but it may be that you have some sort of ancestral connection or past life experience with whatever plights or things are that you're like glomming onto and getting overly emotionally attached to. So number one, your guides are saying, yes, you are feeling, you're feeling all the feels of all of the people involved in this situation, number one, because your boundaries are basically not there at all, or if they are, they're like very small little boundaries, and you don't realize that you're being impacted in more ways than one by what's going on around you. And you may feel like, well, I'm standing up and doing service work on behalf of world peace and world power. And it's like, well, yes, you are, but you're kind of not going about it in the most effective way for your life purpose. So activism may be something that you're called to do, but you can't effectively do it if you emotionally attach to every single situation that you're involved in, because that in and of itself is draining your energy, and it's causing you to make some not so good decisions as well with your financials. So you're over giving. They're saying you're like over tithing because you feel bad about a certain cause or a certain situation, or multiple ones. So for example, save the whales. Okay, well, I feel really bad for these whales. And then you start like, you know, over identifying with their situation, and you start like over watching on social media, like you may be following like all these save the whales and bad, you know, stuff that's happening to whales. And so you're really being bombarded with, that's an example, but I did save the whales came up. So you're really being bombarded with whatever the plight of this particular group or thing is that you're following. And then you're also like over giving of your time, your energy, and your resources to this particular situation, or multiple, just keep saying that, or multiples. So you may be over, they keep saying over tithing. So yeah, I'm getting a big chills there, which is my confirmation. So what happens in that scenario is, for karmic balance and karmic blessings, one of the ways of giving in order to receive is by tithing. And that's that's by giving like 10% of, or a percentage, it doesn't have to be 10, giving a percentage of your abundance back to charity, or, you know, others that need it, you know, charitable organizations or so forth. And because you're so emotionally wrapped up in whatever the plight of XYZ situation is, you're over tithing. So you may have gotten like a bonus at your job, and it's like, well, instead of, you know, spending this bonus on me, I'm going to just give it all to the whales. It's like, wait a minute. Or charging up your credit cards with charitable contributions, and your justification is like, well, it's tax deductible. And it's like, but no, that's not how it works. It's causing you to be drained. Again, they keep saying it's causing you to be drained emotionally, physically, and financially. So we need to get our head on straight a little bit with what's going on. Number one, you need to tighten your boundaries around these situations. You have to cut the cords to them, so to speak, and do some energy work to clear your chakras of whatever is causing you to feel like you have to overly sympathize. And it's going to be different for everybody, but I feel like the heart chakra needs some clearing. There's some ancestral healing that needs to happen. The crown chakra is too small because the crown chakra does not trust. The crown chakra is like blocked. It doesn't trust that these situations are going to take care of themselves. Like Source is on top of things and knows how to handle these plights of these things through whatever divine intervention and other resources need to happen. And you've taken on like a savior complex, and that's not necessary. Your guides are saying that is definitely not necessary. You were never, that is not part of your soul purpose and plan, is to overtax yourself and to get yourself all worked up over these different situations. Now they're making me kind of laugh. I don't know why. Because it's taking away from you, and you have to find a way to get over this. So if you do, so we go back to the, they keep taking me back to the red rose. Open your heart. Your potential for greater love rests in opening your heart. Blockages and wounds from your past will be healed, and you'll be met with the true passion that you seek. I think what's happening here is this is a little bit of what you're doing, like you're attaching to these situations. I'm going to just keep using the whales as an example. You're attaching to this whale situation. Like, oh, the love in me. My heart is open to the whales and their plight, and I'm going to help save them with my my love and my resources, because I feel like that's what I'm supposed to be doing. And your guides are like, no. You can do service work and send good vibes and energy, and you can certainly make a charitable contribution on behalf of your favorite charity, but do it with the balance of like your whole bonus check doesn't go there. So if you got $1,000 bonus, at least 10%, not more, but 10% is this somehow magic number, or whatever you feel like you can do, but 10% is typically the tithing amount. So you would give like $100 of that bonus check to the whales charitable contribution fund or whatever, right? But the other thing that's going to heal your finances. If you can tighten your boundaries around all this over giving of your resources, number one, that's going to go back to the financial healing of the yellow lily. And it's going to balance out the overgiving. The other thing that's happening here with over identification with these charitable causes is it's really, in a sense, some bypassing of what really needs to happen within the heart chakra. It's like, yes, the whales are important and I love them, but there's some heart healing that needs to happen on your end, to be able to, because it's kind of like retail therapy. It's like you're doing something to make up for the fact that something else is lacking in your life. And it is in a way then there, similar to pile number one. It's like you don't have to do this life journey alone, but there's some heart healing that has to happen before you can open your heart to trusting again and bringing in possibly a life partner that could offer you some additional financial healing, could offer you a better lifestyle, so you don't have to be, scrimping and saving so much, and is truly that the passion that you seek could be in this spiritually based partnership or relationship, and it's also in a sense this over-giving and over-identifying with other outside sources is also a bypassing of you taking good care of yourself with that rest card, and focusing more on you and the self-love and the self-care and the nurturing that you need. It's like, be your own charity right now, like be your own whales. Like you've spent so much time like over giving outside of yourself that it's time to quote unquote get over it, like the card says, pull all of that back in, get balanced with the tithing and the over giving, tighten the boundaries, cut the cords to some of these places, and let some of these world issues go, and trust that a higher power does know what it's doing. And the savior complex needs to be healed. I think it's coming from a past life. And just spend that extra doting attention on yourself. And they're saying, that you may feel like that's too hard to do. But that's why your guides are here. That's why like healers like myself are here. That's why your higher self is here. The angels are here to help you get back on track. So this just seems like an earth angel complex kind of gone awry, and it needs to be brought back into balance. And the trust issues and the vulnerability come from a couple of different factors that are easily healed if you can take the focus off of outside interests and bring that focus back into yourself. And if you have some tithing you need to do, like find a spiritual teacher or mentor, or find a healer that you identify and resonate with, and spend those extra dollars on getting yourself some really, you probably need some healing sessions with a energy worker, like a shamanic or a healing practitioner, an angel, whatever you resonate with, some sort of healer. I do that work myself. I have many different healing services. If you resonate with me, you can certainly take a look at the link in my bio to my bio. It's not my bio, I'm not on Instagram right now, but the link in the show notes if that's something you resonate with. And if there's not a service there that speaks to you, I custom make services for people all the time. So, feel free to reach out. But I would definitely take the next, they're saying 3 or 4 months, and spend that extra money you have on getting yourself back into balance. All right, friend, that is all we have for you. So I want to thank you so much for joining me, and we will see you again soon. Take care. Hello, pile number 3. Hello. You chose the orchid. Reach for the stars. You deserve only the best, and this is all you should focus your attention on. And eucalyptus. Open your arms to receiving. You've prayed for help. Now be open to accepting it. And the cards, and it's funny, you got the least amount of cards of all the piles. Only 3 cards for pile number 3. You got whatever. Treat yourself. Mixed up mermaid. This is like the hangman in the tarot. And you got shadow, number 14. Now I am noticing that these are all like kind of upper chakra colors. We've got throat, third eye, crown, a little bit of the heart chakra in that shadow card. Reach for the stars and open your arms to receiving. Let's get a few more cards for you. Let's get, they're saying Loveland. Let me get Loveland. Let's see what's going on, because this is about trust and vulnerability. We got the emotions. Learn to flow with your emotions from a calm, balanced state. And the body, interesting. Your physical body requires self-care and rest at this time. You are experiencing a time of renewal and light body upgrades. Be gentle with yourself. So you're feeling a little maybe vulnerable and out of sorts right now because of, they keep saying world of situations, but it's more like, yeah, like the Schumann resonance and the coronal mass ejections of the soul of Solaris, and a lot going on with your upper chakras being upgraded. And the vulnerability is because your light body is shifting to be more crystalline than ever before. And it's making you feel a little like upside down, a little like fish out of water, because this is like a mermaid. But I think I meant this when I created this to be like the desert. Like she's kind of like out of her element. She's like a fish out of water, like the sealess selkie. We had sealess selkie in the other, one of the other piles. So your emotional state and your physical body are a little like wavy lines, so to speak. There's some upgrades going on within both of those areas of your avatar. And it's causing you to think that something's wrong. I think it's causing you to think that it's like something's wrong and there's possibly like more shadow work that has to be done. And it's kind of like, no, that's really not what it is. It's really just a time right now to treat yourself well. Know that you do deserve only the best, and that's what you should be focusing your attention on. It's not distrust so much that you guys have. It's more this vulnerability. It's when the body shifts to a higher state of consciousness and more crystalline and more light starts entering the chakras and they're saying the skeletal system, it's going to throw you out of whack a little bit. And it could make you doubt, like, something's wrong. What's going on with me? And it's like, no, everything's fine. You just have to go with the flow. And it's interesting because all three groups got a card that basically said you're getting divine downloads or you're getting the information that you seek. Every group got a card like that, and this is yours. You've prayed for help. Now be open to accepting it. So I want to get a couple more cards. I'm going to go to Bubble. I know I was going to go to the tarot, but should I go to the tarot? Let me go to the tarot. I like these rainbows on top of, you've got such nice rainbow colors going on in your reading. Let's see here. What else we've got? Any other advice for group number 3? The Magician. Yeah, you asked for help. You prayed for help. Now be open to receiving it. So you're manifesting. Now I'm going to go to Bubble. That which you asked for. You may have asked for more spiritual power, more spiritual integrity, more divine downloads, more answers from source on your situation. You may be waiting for some things to occur in your 3D reality. Let's see, we got wind. Quinn believed she could fly. At night, she took her old broom and practiced her liftoffs. If that old witch showed up again, Quinn would take her up on those flying lessons. Morgan knew the young girl had been watching her, and Quinn would make a great apprentice. Morgan could teach her all about her craft, and Quinn could use the wind to fly into town and pick up those blueberry scones she loved so much. This goes back to the treat yourself. And then you got one of the same cards we got in the collective reading. Someone is looking out for you. So you are entering a phase of enhanced upgrades. And as such, you're going to have some new guides coming in, both in the physical and the non-physical, to start working with you, because you're going to be getting the divine downloads, the information, the spiritual upgrades that you asked for. But in order to be able to work with them, decipher what you're supposed to do with them as part of your life purpose and your life stream that you're on right now, you're going to need some outside resources to help you with that. So you've got multiple guides. It's not just a someone. It's almost like you've got a new guide team coming in that's going to start working with you on how to utilize these spiritual gifts, these downloads and information, so that you can start kind of practicing, not practicing what you preach, but start practicing and start using them to benefit others. So let's see if there's any other advice for you. I think I want to get one of my most favorite decks is the Oracle of Light and Dreams by Scot Howden. You're the only pile that's gotten to draw from this deck. So let's see, because yours seems pretty straightforward. The other two piles were a little bit more complex in terms of what was going on. A lot more work, soul work and shadow work did have to be done on those two groups. And yours is kind of like, you've done everything you need to do. Now just manifest, which is, you've done the magician work. You're in the manifesting phase now. Just open your arms to receiving, reach for the stars, be open to what's coming to you. And let's see what this, I like the back of these. This is such a cute little deck. Let's see what this oracle has for you as your message. Oh, okay, let's see, hold on. I like to read from the book for this deck. I'm gonna sneeze. You got Thistle. I love this. It reminds me of Bridget, Goddess Bridget. She's got her tartan going on and her little sword of truth. That thistle is like an earth guardian type of symbol for me, like light bringer of the light. I love, love, love this. Let's read this. This is card number 43, which is a 7. So let's see what Thistle has to say for you. This is almost, I think, one of the, no, it's not the last card. Stand up for what you believe in. Conviction, strength, values, and integrity. This wild-haired warrior is a fine example of someone who stands up for what they believe in. Defiant and determined, she is dressed, I told you, in the tartan colors of her clan and is ready to defend her people and their rights. She holds a thistle in her hand, the adopted symbol of her beloved Highland home. It represents bravery, devotion, valor, and strength, all characteristics of her fiery determination. We are often faced with situations that cause us to consider compromising our values and beliefs. For instance, abandoning a moral principle and bowing to peer pressure because we were afraid we won't fit into a group, or cutting corners in order to save time and effort. It may often feel like the easier option to go against our convictions, but the more we compromise our values, the more of a negative impact it can have on our well-being. When we stand up for what we believe in or speak truth to power, it not only allows us to overcome obstacles and be true to ourselves, but it also builds greater self-confidence, respect, and integrity. And the quote is, "And one day she discovered that she was fierce and strong and full of fire, and that not even she could hold herself back because her passion burned brighter than her fears." That's The Beautiful Truth by Mark Antony. So I feel that's you. I feel like there's nothing wrong. The vulnerability is just a light body upgrade because you've got a much bigger part of your soul mission that's coming up very soon for you. And you're just being asked to manifest, reach for the stars, dream big, and then allow yourself to receive. So that is all we have for you, pile number 3. I'm glad you joined us here, and we will see you again next time. Take care.